Good morning, people. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Doing these videos is making me realise I need to get my hair done more, if nothing else. Right, so today, thank you for posting your questions under the welcome video, which is just where I need them to be so that I can gather them all in one place and see them. And today I wanted to talk about, but what if the problem, there really is a problem, Nick? Like, what if it's not just created through thought? What if I really do have a cancer diagnosis? What if I really do have a partner who's hitting me? What if I really do have no money in my bank account and I'm going bankrupt? Like, what about them, Nick? Like, that's not made of thought, that's real. What about the real ones? So what I want to point you to is we can never feel anything but our thinking, ever. There are no exceptions to this rule. It's true 100% of the time, always, no exceptions. Now, if it looks like there's an exception to the rule, it's not that there is an exception to the rule, it's that we have some level of misunderstanding about it, about that particular thing. We're probably very close to it, we have a lot of thinking about it, but it's not that there are exceptions to the rule, it's just that we haven't figured this one out yet. And me too, right? Lots of areas in my life where it still looks to me like it's outside in, right? If my kid says something hurtful to me, like says something horrible to me, it looks like that can make me feel a certain way sometimes. When my bank account does crazy things, looks like it can make me feel a certain way. Now, I know it isn't true, but it just really looks and feels that way sometimes. So I wanted to show you something that might be helpful. So I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm well known with my clients for my lovely diagrams, but Jack Pransky calls this a ladder of consciousness, and actually it's referred to this way by lots of teachers, but his book, Seduced by Consciousness, is a really amazing read if you haven't read it already. But what I want to point you to is here, right? we go in and out of different states of consciousness, also known as moods, all day long. Nothing we can do about it, just as human beings. We'll be in a low mood when we wake up in the morning, mid-morning we're in a higher mood, and then we'll go back into a low mood and a high mood. We do this all day long. But you can have one set of circumstances, right? So I'm going to use the example screaming child. Oh, excuse me. Like a child throwing a tantrum, right? And in a low state of mind, this screaming child, we sit here and we think, oh my God, the child is screaming. They are causing me to feel so stressed and worried and anxious on their behalf. Maybe there's something actually properly wrong with them. Perhaps I should go and speak to their teachers. Oh my goodness, what if they grow up like this? Oh my, how are they ever going to function? They're never going to be able to leave home when they behave like this all the time. I remember 5,000 other times where they've behaved like this. This happens all the time. My child lives in this state of high anxiety and stress all the time. There's definitely something wrong. It's impacting on my relationship. It's impacting on her siblings. That's why she's got no friends at school. That's why the teacher said her grades are getting worse. Oh my goodness, I have a real problem with my child. Now, in a higher state of mind, we might see that we have a child that's screaming child, and we start to see that my child is screaming, it's still really winding me up, it's really annoying, it's causing her problems at school, but I do know that this only happens like a couple of times a month, and maybe there's something that I can do to help her. Right down here it was like, there's nothing. This child is absolutely certifiably insane and nothing's going to be able to help. I don't know what to do. Here it's like, maybe I could get some advice, maybe I could get some help. Perhaps there's hope here, right, in this state of mind. Here, screaming child. We have a screaming child. We're in a higher state of mind and we're like, oh, for God's sake, here she goes, screaming again. Oh, I can see 5 different ways that I can deal with this situation. It's just, I remember it's when her sugar level gets too low, or she's just in a bad mood because she didn't get much sleep last night, or she's just in a bad mood, whatever. I know ways I can handle it. I know ways I can tackle this. no big deal, I'll get on and manage it. And here, the weird thing is, well, I'll come to that in a moment. Here you have a screaming child and you're like, oh well. You give them some love and kindness and you get on with your day. This screaming child is not a problem. This screaming child really is. It's the same screaming child. It's the same screaming child. But at a different level of consciousness, they show up different in the world. And in fact, what's really interesting, I do a parenting course to teach these principles to our children because, oh my God, I wish I'd found this when I was 10 years old. Here, what you find is a lot less screaming children. They just don't show up as often in your world. Thought creates reality. When you know this, when you're in a good state of mind, the sun's shining, or if it's raining like today, oh, that's a good excuse to cozy inside, right? There's it looks like there's time in your diary. It looks like problems can be solved, right? It looks like there are less problems in the world, right? As we go up and down, if you know the fact that what you are seeing is never a screaming child, what you're seeing is a reflection of your state of mind, we start to see there are no problems, there are only circumstances. Same goes for cancer, same goes for partners, everything. Now, if you are in a situation, for example, because this is one that's always thrown out as an example, where your partner is actually beating you, right? Here it looks like I'm to blame, there's no way out of this, this is my life forever, I'm terrified and I'm stuck. Here it's like, there are some possibilities, there might be some way out of this. Here it's like, I can see possibility, I can see hope. And here it's like, I'm gone, right? It's like, if the problems created through thought. And as we shift in our level of consciousness, the problem vanishes because it was only ever made of thought. And if there's anything that needs to be done, by the time you get here in this state of mind, there is not normally anything to be done because there isn't actually a problem. But if there is anything to be done, as our states of mind improve, we'll see what it is. It'll be flipping obvious. It'll be a no-brainer. Right? And if we need to leave, we leave. If we need to go to the hospital and have some treatment for our cancer, we'll go to the hospital and have some treatment. Right? If we're bankrupt, we'll go and get some financial aid or some help, or ask somebody for help. We'll get a job, whatever. Right? Here there are opportunities and possibilities and hope and all the rest of it. Now, the aim of the game is not to stay here and manage your mood to get here. This is really key. You don't control this. You don't control this. It's not on you. But you can understand it. So you know if it looks like there's a real problem, if it looks like this is always the case, 24/7, if it looks like it's urgent, you need to do something about it, but you don't know what to do and there's no solutions and you're asking your friends about it, then all that shows me there isn't a real problem. It shows me that you're in a low state of mind in this moment. So you don't need to indulge any of your thinking because none of it's true and it'll all shift when your mood rises. And I'll talk more about that over the coming videos, but I just wanted to share that with you because for some of you it'll be the first time you've ever come across something like that. And yeah, it's like life-changing to understand that when you feel that way, it's got nothing to do with the situation and everything to do with the state of mind you happen to be in at that moment. Okay? Keep posting your questions, like you can post questions about this one, but post them all under the welcome email, the pinned post, because that really does help me get them all in one place, and I'll be back again tomorrow.